Hello, buddy, it's Bendominator, and welcome back to another episode of the Bendominator Podcast. Today, we are on episode 23 of the podcast, and tomorrow we have a brand new update. Yes, it's another one of those episodes where we get to theorize and discuss what the next update's going to be, but I'll make it a bit quick this time because I honestly don't really have a lot of high hopes for it, if I'm being completely honest, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Again, we're on episode 23. If you guys enjoy the podcast, thank you so much. I really do like making these episodes, and I'm glad that you guys are listening. If you are listening to this at the current moment, but yeah, overall the past week has been a pretty good week for me in terms of content. I released 2 new videos, going over Fortnitemares and then ranking all the Renegade Raider skins, which I thought was pretty fun. Because we've been seeing a lot of Renegade Raider reskins recently. So I wonder if they're going to keep up with that. I wonder if they're going to do like another Christmas one or what's going to happen with that. I don't know. It's interesting to me. But yeah, that has been pretty interesting. And then Fortnitemares is seeming pretty cool so far. From all the information that we've seen, I'm very excited for it. I've been expecting it to happen soon, but considering what Fortnite tweeted today for their announcement for the update, I have a feeling that we might not get Fortnitemares this week. I think that maybe the next update might not be the Fortnitemares update that everyone's been hoping for, which would be very unfortunate, which is why I'm kind of like not really hoping for much. And we'll talk about that again. We'll talk about that a bit more later once we get to the news section of this video or of this podcast. I also did a Smash Bros. Stream, which was super fun, and it actually did way better than I thought it would. So thank you guys so much for anyone who came out to watch that. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was a pretty good week. Second week of Brim, we did the first ever update for Season 4 of Brim Royale, which is also really cool. And we got some exciting things planned for that as well in the future. So I'm very excited for that. I am very excited for a lot of things that are happening, both with Fortnite and both with the channel. It's been really good. The last week has been fun. Again, got back to making some commentaries. It's been a good time. Sorry, I just took a drink of water there. But yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and get into the news section of this video. And yeah, we can go ahead and talk about that update that's going to be releasing tomorrow. So, of course, Fortnite Status put out a tweet saying, Combat, Combat's Combat. The B18.20 update is scheduled for release on October 12th. Downtime will begin at approximately 4 a.m. Eastern, with matchmaking being disabled approximately 30 minutes before. Which, this is like... So what happened with the last update is they merely just like teased the speedy... the speedy chug splash. And in reality, that's kind of all we ended up getting for BR. So I feel like this update's really just gonna be for the Combat AR and the Combat SMG. And we might not even get them in the update. It might be like a vote for it. So that's kind of what my expectations are at this point. And yeah, that would be very sad. That would be very sad if that's all we got, because I've been really getting myself typed up. I've been very excited for the Fortnitemares update. But from what there's like, of course we don't know yet, but from this teaser, it just doesn't seem like that's what's going to happen. Maybe Fortnitemares will start next time. I know they're supposed to be doing a patch during 18.10, so we're going to see like a mini update. But I don't know if they can fit in like Fortnitemares during that. We're definitely not going to get any map changes. I'm not expecting that. I know Cube Town is going to be a thing at some point, but that's really... Like, I think in terms of map changes this season, Cube Town's going to literally be the only thing that gets added. So, yeah, and I'm not even expecting that this update. I feel like that's going to be like a near end of season thing, which is very unfortunate. So, yeah, overall, like, not really expecting much. I'm expecting, like, really the only thing I'm excited for this season right now is for Fortnitemares. And based on the tweet, I don't think that's going to be happening this week. I think we might have to wait a bit longer for that. But of course, we'll still be getting like some Fortnitemares skins and stuff, some Halloween skins in the leaks, which will be exciting. I hope we get more than we did last time, but I'm doubtful if it's not the Fortnitemares update. I feel like they're gonna wait to release like all the crazy Fortnitemares skins in the update. They might just release a few, Because this update, we only really got like 4 leaked skins, and then 1 was encrypted. And that did, like, I mean, they released a good amount of skins, like, during, like, the last 2 weeks. So there wasn't, like, a drought of skins where we didn't really get any new stuff. So, yeah. But we'll just have to wait and see. I just really want a good update that I can, like, sink my teeth into, like, and talk about a bunch. But it's just, like, the last update wasn't really that major, and this update I feel like is gonna kind of be the same thing. I don't know. I feel like this update's just gonna be like, so here's the combat and combat SMG and combat AR vote. So vote for that, and then also here's some Fortnite skins, but not a lot, just like 2 or 3, and then maybe like an encrypted thing or something, and then some other random skin. I don't know. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't have high expectations, especially since the last update wasn't that major. And in terms of creative, I think they'll probably release the double shockwave, or not the double shockwave. What am I saying? The double crossbow, the dual wield crossbow, which will be cool. But like I've kind of discovered that the dual crossbow is pretty much the exact same thing as the normal fiend hunter, just with like a faster fire rate and maybe like the damage is a bit different. But it really doesn't have a huge reason to exist, in my opinion. And also, it uses AR ammo for some reason, which is kind of weird that uses AR ammo. And the old one used no ammo, or it used like arrows, but it was like infinite. It was like an infinite ammo type of deal, which is really weird. You'd think since they have like the arrow ammunition in the game, they would use it for the crossbow, but I guess not. Seems kind of weird to me. But yeah, if those get added to creative, cool, but like they don't really have a big use. Like there's not really anything special about them. But they are cool looking, and it's always nice to get new stuff in creative. In terms of other stuff they could add in creative, I'm really hoping like fire stuff. Like I hope they finally, because in the last update they had like the whole fire damage thing, like you can turn it on now, but it doesn't actually do anything. Like if you use the Dragon Breath shotgun, it doesn't actually cause fire. So maybe they'll actually make it so that happens and add fireflies and add the flame bow. That'll be awesome. I think that's definitely going to happen soon. I don't know if that's going to be the next update, but I could see that. I could see that happening. I'd be pretty happy with that. But I'm not expecting anything too crazy and creative either, because like I don't know what else prefabs are going to add. They kind of already added like the new Fortnite prop or Fortnitemares props. They already added like some of the new stuff from this season. They still have not gone back to add the primal stuff, which is very weird to me that they're still doing that, but I guess it'll come eventually. Because they've pretty much got everything else, I think. I mean, we still need the IO-based things, I guess, as well. So, that as well. But, yeah, they've been taking their time with that, which is fine. So yeah, I don't know. I hate to be negative, but I just don't expect anything at all. Unlike last week where I was, like, really hyped up and I was, like, expecting a big update, this week, partially due to that and partially just due to, like, the teaser that we got. Like, not really a teaser, but just, like, what they said with the update thing. And they didn't even, like, they don't even do, like, the little mini patch note things with the updates anymore. So it's like, should I even be waiting for that tweet? Because I usually, like, the reason I usually wait for the tweet to do the podcast is because I want to see, like, what they have being like, because they'll usually have, like, a reply to it being like, this is what you can expect. But they don't even do that anymore, which is really unfortunate. So I guess that's that. But yeah, again, I'm just not expecting a whole lot. I don't think the next update's gonna be too exciting. I think they're preparing for Fortnitemares, and I think Fortnitemares is gonna be a blast. I really hope it is, because I really want, like, a good reason to play the game, because this season has just felt super lacking, in my opinion. It's been fun. I mean, like, the season's fun, but it's like, it just feels so bland, you know? But it's definitely, I definitely enjoy it better than last season. It's just like it doesn't annoy me as much as last season did, but it makes me more bored, if anything. Like, I'm more bored playing this season. But at least I'm not as annoyed, you know? Like, I have more fun with it. I have more fun with, like, the loot pool and stuff and the weapons. So, that's good, at least. And they've been giving us a decent amount of content. It's just nothing that's crazy, and nothing I've been really crazy about. But I do like some of the stuff they've been doing. Like, the Shockwave Launcher is really fun. The Venom Mythics, I think, are awesome. It's unfortunate they're supposed to be leaving later this month. A lot of the cosmetics have been good. Like Fortnitemares stuff has been amazing so far in terms of cosmetics, and I'm just very excited to see what the rest of the skins are going to look like. Yeah. But other than that, it's just like, I don't know. This season's just like, this whole season I've just been waiting for like the update that makes me excited. The season launch was supposed to be that update, but even the season launch didn't excite me. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if they'll even do anything bigger than the season launch at this point, because it's like they never, like, the season launch is the biggest update in the season. And if that update feels lackluster, then like, of course every other update's probably going to feel lackluster too. But I feel like Fortnitemares is always fun no matter what. Like, even during Chapter 2 Season 4, I still had a decent time with it. I still thought it was pretty good. The zombie thing got annoying after a while, but it was still like fun. It was interesting. It was unique. Especially during that season. Like, we really needed something like that. So I'm just waiting for Fortnitemares to like save the season, but the fact that it might not be next update is really upsetting to me, because it's like, oh, we gotta go like another 2 weeks. And by that point, like what like, they always start Fortnitemares pretty late, don't they? Like, it's always like the last week of October or something. Or like the last 2 weeks. Maybe they'll start it on like the 19th. But they always start it pretty late. It ends November 1st. We know that, but we don't know when it starts. So it might be like the last week of October, or like the second last week of October, which would be upsetting, but I guess that's how they normally do it, right? I don't know why they just don't have it be like throughout all of October. I feel like sometimes their holiday events are just kind of short. Like, they could really use like a few weeks, like a whole month, really. Because a lot of them are just like a week long or 2 weeks long, which makes sense for like stuff like Easter. But for like Christmas and for Fortnitemares, it's like 2 weeks or like 1 week. But mostly like 2 weeks, I think. Especially for Christmas events, it was like 2 weeks last year. Like, that's a decent amount of time, but still, like, I feel like a whole month, like a whole 4 weeks would be a really good amount of time for like a whole event. Because it feels like a mini season. I think that would be cool. Because the holiday events are always something to look forward to, I think, at least for me. So, yeah. I guess we'll see what happens next update, but I don't have like the highest expectations for it. I really don't. But we'll see what happens. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. I really do. Because I want to be excited for it, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to get my hopes up. So it's like, I guess it's good that I'm not that hyped for it, because then it is something really cool. Then it's a good surprise, you know? It's a nice surprise. So it's good to keep your expectations in check. But I think like it's nice to be excited for things as well. But there's not really anything to be excited for other than the prospect of Fortnitemares happening. But that doesn't seem likely. That really doesn't. I don't think that's gonna happen yet. There's also rumors that the hunting rifle might be unvaulted. That'll be cool. If not, then I don't really mind too much. But yeah, it'd be cool. It seems like they're kind of unvaulting a lot of stuff this season. Like, they're going back and kind of bringing a bunch of old stuff back, which is kind of weird. Because they're like bringing old stuff back, but then they're like, this is new content. But it's like, well, that's kind of just old stuff. But, oh, even if it's good, like, sometimes but it's still good. Like, I don't know. It's just when like they do it instead of like actual new content, but I guess it hasn't really been that bad. Because like the shockwave launcher's really fun, even if it's an old thing. It's still really cool. I like it a lot. There's a new like zombie drift skin, which looks really cool. I'm excited for that. I made a short on it. If you want to check that out, I think it's really cool. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. What else? What else do we got here? Not a lot of news this week, other than just like new skins and stuff. Other than also the Fortnite news, but I made like an entire video on that, so it's not anything crazy. But yeah, we got like the new prefabs for creative, which was cool. The cube foliage and the crashed abductors. We actually got something from the new season like soon, which is cool. But I guess it's probably because there's not like they're all just props because they didn't like add any buildings this season. That really goes to show like how minimal the map changes were. Like, they didn't even add any new like building galleries or prefabs to VR. They didn't even add like they added buildings to the map, but nothing new. Like, nothing made out of any new textures or anything. It's all just props. And the stuff they did add was like IO bases. So it's like, wow, that really goes to show how little. And like the new Cubetown POI looks like it's not even gonna have buildings. It's just like, wow. Which, I mean, I think Cubetown's gonna be cool. But still, it's crazy. Like, when's the last time that's happened? When's the last time we got a new season and like they changed the map so little that they didn't even add new walls or floors to the game? Like, if I'm not mistaken, there's not a single new wall or floor this season. That's kind of crazy. That is kind of wild. That's kind of wild. But yeah, honestly, yeah, really not a lot of news. Like, I'm scrolling through my Twitter thing, like my news feed right here that I always set up for the podcast, and it's just like, wow, there's just not really anything that's happened this week, which is kind of unfortunate. But hey, new update tomorrow, so hopefully that'll change. We'll see. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, I think I'll just move on to onto viewer questions at this point. Sorry, this podcast, I feel like this episode hasn't been that great so far, and I kind of feel bad about that. But at the same time, it's like I don't know. There's not like a lot to talk about, because like last week was like really a good episode. I feel like, because I had a lot to talk about, I had a lot to say, I had a lot of like good positive feelings, and even some negative feelings that turned into good discussions. This episode, I feel like I'm just like, there's nothing for me to look forward to, and there's nothing for me to even complain about. I mean, even if I have things to complain about, it's like I've complained about this a billion times. People have heard me talk about this and ramble about it already on previous podcast episodes. So it's like, why bother doing it again here? So it's like, yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot to say in this episode. So I apologize if this episode's kind of meh. I apologize if this has been a great episode. But I guess we'll move on to viewer questions now, and it should lighten the mood a little bit. Should lighten the feel about it. But this question is actually, the first question I will read actually does kind of relate to this episode a bit. Speaking Llama asked, do you think you have an overall positive view on Fortnite? So it really depends on the season for me. It, like, my view of Fortnite depends so heavily on the season and if I'm enjoying the season. I will say it's also different for BR and creative, because for creative, I always have a positive view on creative. Like, even right now, when it's like, creative right now is a buggy mess, okay? Creative right now is probably like in terms of content, it's not the worst it's ever been, but it's probably the worst it's ever been right now, because it's a buggy mess, and discovery is such a big problem at the moment. Like, discovery is just terrible right now. So creative's honestly, for me, probably the worst it's ever been. I still love it. I still love creative. I'll never be tired of creative. I'll never be tired of building things. I'll never be tired of playing maps. It's just, creative is always great. Okay. Even when they mess up stuff like discovery, even when it's like so buggy to the point where it's like causing problems. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's something that I will complain about and that I want to talk about. But it's like, it's still always creative, and creative's great, you know? BR, on the other hand, if BR's not fun, then I'm going to have a negative opinion on it, because BR is so, like, it's so much of the same thing, you know? It's such a repetitive nature. And that goes for, like, anything other than BR. Like, just anything, like, say there's, like, a Call of Duty game with, like, just that same gameplay loop of doing, like, team deathmatch games or whatever other game modes are, which I don't know why I can't think of any off the top of my head for some reason, like domination and stuff. Like, things with a similar gameplay loop, I'm gonna get tired of. But if the game is good enough and, like, has enough interesting things being added to it all the time, then I'm gonna be pretty positive about it. I'm gonna have a fun time. I'm gonna have a good time, and I'm not gonna be tired of it. So when Fortnite fails to keep the game interesting, then I usually think pretty negatively on it. And I think that's kind of the main problem of BR, is that it's not always guaranteed that Epic's able to keep it interesting. Some seasons they're able to keep it extremely interesting, but other seasons they're just not. And I don't know if I don't know why I feel like the quality of the game is always so inconsistent when it comes to BR. But for me, I feel like some seasons I love them, some seasons I not so much. I don't think I've ever really hated a season of Fortnite. There's never been a season of Fortnite where I'm just like, I hate this game and I never want to touch it again. But there are seasons that I complain about more than others, and there are seasons that I feel negatively more about than others. And this might be one of those seasons, unfortunately. But we'll just have to wait and see. So it all depends on the state of the game. It depends on what game we're talking about. I feel like overall the last like 2 seasons I've been kind of negative though, which is really unfortunate because like I don't want to be negative about the game. Like I want to have fun with the game. It's just I'm going to be honest about my opinions with you guys because I'm not the type of channel to just like be positive about everything or be negative about everything because I keep my opinions as honest as possible, like as honest as I can. So it's like if there's something I don't like, I'm going to say I don't like it. If there's something I like, I'm going to say I like it, you know? And I feel like there's certain seasons that I'm really positive about, that I enjoy a lot. So like just in recent memory, Chapter 2 Season 6, Chapter 2 Season 5, Chapter 2 Season 3, all memories that I was super positive, or like all seasons I was super positive about. But like seasons like Chapter 2 Season 4, Chapter 2 Season 7, and Chapter 2 Season 8, maybe I'm not so thrilled about them, you know? But there's different levels of it. Because it's like, for example, this season, I still consider it to be a pretty big improvement over the last one. And I'm going to give it credit where credit is due. I'm going to compliment the season where I think it deserves compliments. I even did that for last season. If you watch my review video, I started by talking about good things that I liked about it. Because I'm never going to just fully just go into the negative of it. And even if it may seem like I don't like a season that much, and I may be talking about it a bit more negatively, there's always the few things that I enjoy, and maybe there's more than a few things. Like this season, I really enjoy the loot pool. I like it a lot. There's just really cool things that they've been doing with the updates. They've been adding some pretty interesting stuff. I like the voting mechanic. I like how you can vote for different things. But say some negatives are just like the lack of interesting content. I feel like overall, even if there has been cool things like the wall traps and stuff, I like the sideways weapons. Overall, I feel like there's just a lack of polish and a lack of just overall there's not a lot of stuff to dig your teeth into with this season. And that overlying kind of opinion of mine kind of like overlies, like it's such a big problem for me that like it kind of takes it over with a bit more of a negative view of it. Same with like the lack of map changes and stuff. It's just like that kind of stuff. It's gotten to the point where it's just like I always think about it when I'm playing the game. Like whenever I'm playing the game, I'm just like, man, I wish this map was better. Man, I wish there was a bit something more like interesting to do in this game right now, because it just feels really repetitive at the moment. And like BR is always gonna be like it's always gonna be repetitive. It's repetitive in nature. That's not necessarily an issue. The issue is when they keep it from being interesting. Like when they don't make it interesting enough. Like you can have BR be repetitive. It's gonna be repetitive no matter what. It's a BR. It's the same thing you do at every game. But as long as they keep it interesting with good updates and good content, then that doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter as much with good map changes, all that kind of stuff. But when you don't do that, and when you don't like keep it interesting, then the repetitiveness starts to feel more negative. So it's just like, yeah. But overall, I think I try to be honest with it. I don't think I really have an answer for you. I don't think I'm overall positive or negative about the game. It really depends on the state of the game because Fortnite's always changing. And I'm always going to be honest with my opinions. So I can't just always be positive about the game. It's impossible. You can't like everything about the game, you know? You can't. And that doesn't even necessarily mean like you need to like everything to be positive about it, but you can't always enjoy every single season, you know? And that's just how Fortnite is. Like some people like some seasons, some people hate others, you know? Everyone has a different opinion on it. So it's like you can't just be positive or negative on the game as a whole, you know? Overall, I like the game. Overall, I think Fortnite's a fun game. So I guess if you think about it that way, I guess overall I'm positive on it because I still play it and I still like it and I still like making content on it. And I don't think that's ever going to change. But some seasons I'm a bit more negative than others. So yeah, that was a very long-winded answer. I apologize for that. I don't know how much that actually made sense. This episode's been really weird. I don't know why. I feel like this has been like a really bad episode, so I apologize if this has been a weird one. It's been kind of rambly and stuff and kind of negative, but I don't know. I just wanted to kind of give my mind on that question. I feel like that question was related. Um, but anyway, I'm probably gonna mispronounce this name. Unicycle. Sorry if I mispronounced that. What item or weapon should come to season 8? So I don't know if you mean like unvaulting things or what, like something new should come out. But in terms of like bringing back old stuff, I think bouncers should definitely come back. I really want helicopters back. Like, I don't know why they ever removed them. They just randomly decided that they don't want them in the game anymore. I definitely think helicopters should come back. That would be a good thing, I think. It would be really fun. Especially because we don't really have any air vehicles anymore since the UFOs are gone. So I think that would be cool. In terms of new stuff, like, I don't know. I can't really think of any, like, good ideas is the thing for this season. If I thought right now what a good idea for, like, something they would add is. It's kind of hard for me to think of that. But I'm sure if I had more time, I think I would be able to. But at the moment, I can't really think of anything. But yeah, in terms of things coming back, like old stuff, bouncers and helicopters are like my main two. I think those would be really, really cool. Cosmos Games says, what would you like to see in Fortnite Chapter 3, if any new mechanics or changes? Well, for me, for Fortnite Chapter 3, the main thing I would want to see is just good, consistent, like consistently good seasons, which is a lot harder said than done. Or it's easier said than done. But I just want, like, honestly, if they were to do a Chapter 3, right, I would want them to have an interesting map to start off with, and I would want that map to, like, evolve over time. But here's the thing. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 represent the worst of both extremes, in my opinion. Chapter 1 got way too cluttered by the end. And Chapter 2 has barely changed. So what I would love to see is just a nice middle ground for Chapter 3 where they can improve and innovate on the map, but also don't, like, keep it from being cluttered and messy, which is difficult, but it is definitely very possible. And there's a billion ways I think they could have done it with this chapter alone. But it's just like, yeah, I think that's the best thing they could do with that. In terms of new mechanics, I don't really know where they could go from here. Like, I mean, they have cars, they have water, like, and swimming and stuff. Like, that was the main thing of Chapter 2 was, like, the swimming and the fishing, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what, like, the theme of Chapter 3 would be when it comes to, like, new mechanics and stuff. Maybe they can implement, like, the broken glass and stuff that they did in creative and implement that into BR in some way. Which, like, I feel like the only way they would go is just adding more realism elements, because they already kind of did that with Chapter 2. They made it so you could, like, swim and drive and stuff. I don't know how I would feel about that, but just, like, going even further and making it more realistic and stuff. I don't know if that probably wouldn't be a good idea. But that's weirdly how I, like, imagine it. Or they, like, go back to their old roots and, like, reimagine Fortnite as, like, and just, like, go back to, like, an older state of the game. And just, like, I don't know how they would do that. Just, like, a modernized version of the old game. I think that would be the best thing to do. Would be a modernized version of classic Fortnite. And just kind of, like, go back to the roots. Like, you don't have swimming, you don't have cars. Like, cars are awesome, and I love cars. But I kind of miss when the mobility was, like, ATKs. Like, I miss that kind of stuff because it was, like, silly and it didn't feel like real. And, like, the swimming is cool, but I kind of, like, swimming is just kind of weird to me still. Like, I kind of wish swimming wasn't a thing. I don't know. Certain things about Chapter 2 feel, or, like, they feel nice. They fit the gameplay well. Like, and I like them a lot. But if we're going to have a Chapter, like, 3... I wouldn't want them to keep going in that direction, I feel like. I'd rather them go back to the old cartooniest, like, just fun, random stuff. Just, like, instead of cars, like, it made more sense for Fortnite, instead of cars, to have just golf carts, because it just felt more like Fortnite, you know? Actual cars are cool, but it's just, like, golf cart, like, the ATKs and stuff were a lot of fun. And just, like, swimming in Fortnite. I mean, swimming's not a big deal. Like, you keep swimming and stuff. But stuff like that. And just introduce some more fun, like, weapons, random weapons. Things like that. And then just keep the map consistently changing. Keep, like, interesting season themes and stuff. But that's just, like, kind of overall game stuff that I want. Not really anything specific to Chapter 3. So, again, it's just kind of difficult for me to imagine Chapter 3. It seems like it's, like, really close. It seems like we're going to be getting Chapter 3 really soon. I'd like to bet, though, that we're not going to get Chapter 3, like, anytime soon. Like, my prediction is that, like, everybody's predicting that Season 10 is going to be the last season of this chapter, and then we're going to move on to Chapter 3, and then we're going to do 10 seasons of that and move on to Chapter 4. But for me, the thing is, like, the only reason they made Chapter 2 is because they were limited by Chapter 1. And it doesn't really seem like they're limited by Chapter 2. So, do they really need to make a Chapter 3? They could very easily just stay on this map forever. And trust me, I do not want that to happen. I want there to be a Chapter 3. If they stayed on this map, and if they made like a ton of map changes, then yeah, we could stay on the map. But that's not what's going to happen. This map's going to look the exact same by Season 10. I guarantee it. Like, I'm done getting my hopes up for any map changes at all. Like, even just predictions for this season, this map we're gonna get, like, this season, my predictions are we're gonna get Cube Town, and that's it. We're gonna get Cube Town. It's not gonna have like any buildings in it. It's still gonna be a cool, fun POI, but it's gonna get kind of boring kind of fast, and everyone's gonna get over it. And that's it for the rest of the season. And the next season, we'll probably get 1 or 2 new POIs if we're lucky. I don't have high hopes for map changes at all this, like, with this map anymore, because it's just, they've ruined every good chance they've had. And it's just, they've done that a lot for a lot of things, and map changes is the main thing. It's like, they've had so many chances to make it cool, and they ruin it. Same with the storyline. They've had so many chances to make the storyline really interesting, and they've just ruined every single chance of that, I feel like, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, I've gone very off topic, but yeah, in terms of Chapter 3, just cool map. I just want a cool map with a lot of cool changes, lots of cool seasons, and I'd like to see it go back in time a little bit. Go back to classic Fortnite, kind of let it relive a little bit of that. Not really necessarily for nostalgia, but just for the simplicity of it, you know? But don't, like, oversimplify it and make it boring. You know, you gotta make it interesting still. Because classic Fortnite wasn't fun because it was simple. It was fun because it had a lot of interesting things that were unique about it. It had a lot of fun elements added to the game, like, all the time. Lots of new fun items that you wouldn't even be able to think of. So yeah, that's why it was fun. It wasn't like your traditional BR. Because at this point, Fortnite kind of feels a bit more traditional. It feels less creative. But then there's still creative aspects about it. Like, you have the sideways and stuff, which is pretty interesting. But it's like, I don't know, the map feels a lot more bland, you know? The game feels a lot more watered down and bland. It doesn't have as much personality anymore, I feel like. Especially with all the collabs and stuff, which isn't a huge deal for me, personally. But I could see how people may not enjoy that aspect. But anyway, speaking of collabs, what is your number 1 most wanted collab? Mine is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. For me, I think mine would have to be Gravity Falls. I've always wanted a lot of Gravity Falls stuff in the game, especially since we got, like, the whole Rick and Morty collab. I think Gravity Falls would be cool because, like, I feel like that collab kind of made me think, like, oh wait, this could actually happen. I don't think it's going to, but I think that it would be really cool to see a Gravity Falls collab in the game. And then another question asking if you could bring back any item, weapon, or vehicle, what would you bring back? I would bring back helicopters, or even ATKs, honestly, if they replace the cars. But not on this map. They wouldn't work on this map. The cars are definitely better for the Chapter 2 map. But yeah, helicopters would be fun. I definitely want those back. And bouncers. But anyway, I think that's going to be about it for this episode. This is a really weird episode for me. I know this is kind of weird. I don't know if you guys felt it that much, but for me, it was kind of an off episode. I don't know why. This week's been weird. But I'm somewhat excited for the next update. I'm somewhat intrigued. I'm hoping to get a video out on it tomorrow, depending on how good the update is, because if the update's not interesting to me, I'm not going to make a video on it. So I'm really hoping it's good enough for me at least to make a video on. But here's hoping, but I don't want to get my hopes up. So we'll wait and see what happens. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Bendominator Podcast. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, because I make videos like this all the time, and I make new podcast episodes every week. You can also use my supporter creator code Bendominator in the item shop, #ad, and you can also follow me on Twitter or join my Discord. All links are in the description below. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for listening, and goodbye.